guys, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. I'm Mariah.
And I'm Jasmine.
And this is
To Be an MD. So today is a video that I am very excited about because we're going to talk about budgeting for your med school applications. Not for med school, but just for the applications, because it is so expensive, and you're going to see our totals and you're going to cry for us, hopefully, because yeah, it was a lot. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we should just jump in.
Yeah, just before we even get into it, don't get discouraged because you're going to see these numbers and it's just going to be like, bow. And you're going to be like, nah, I'm good. Don't get discouraged. If you're in it to win it, be in it to win it. Put your money where your mouth is. It's an investment. Remember that, and it will pay off in the long run.
Yeah, it can definitely be discouraging. But yeah, so like, you know, if you're in college and you want to go pre-med, save now. If you're in high school, save now.
Yeah.
If you have a full-time job, do your best, save now. Like, you know, you gotta figure it out. But you know, we'll get into that more at the end. So yeah, let's just jump into it.
All right, boom. Okay, you guys, here are our totals thus far. We're gonna go by person, each application, system, and then everything you need to apply.
Right.
Boom.
Okay, so for me, for TMD SAS, so actually, no, let's start with the MCAT, right? Okay, so for my MCAT was $1,145. So that price includes my study materials. So I did the Kaplan books. I bought the latest Kaplan books. We split some next step or blueprint as they go by now. Tests. I bought UWorld. I think that was the AAMC products. So I did their practice tests. We did the section banks, and I think we did a couple of they had another like a question packs, right? Is that what they're called?
Question packs, section bank, flashcards, practice exams.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah.
So we are here. My MCAT total thus far is $4,480. And that's going to be mainly due to, you know, registering for the MCAT, rescheduling the MCAT. I am going to take it a second time.
Reschedules.
Yeah, reschedules are going to cost like $95.
And that's if you do it before a certain date.
So yeah, 2 MCATs, rescheduling, all the AMC material, next step prep, like she said. Did I pay Kaplan? No, I didn't pay for Kaplan. I got some Kaplan books free. They were given to me, so that don't count. But... This on the lowest of lows, okay? But what's making my total so big is the Princeton review.
Yeah, so she's taking a course. Kudos to her. I cannot spend that money, but she got it.
Yeah. I'm taking it, guys. I'm taking the MCAT Ultimate course. I already have my books, so I'm just reading them. My course is going to start in January, and I'm going to take it in March.
Yeah.
Yes. And that course there is $3,389.
Oh my God!
So yeah, that's where that's coming from. And even when you do take the course, I've read and I've heard from the people that I registered from and other people, you still have to put in the work.
Yeah.
Like although you sit there and listen to them, you have assignments that are due, so you got to put in that work outside of class. So, but it's still good to like have someone like hold you accountable and like keep you on track.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, so as you can see, like the course really does increase that price for the MCAT a lot. But you know, if you know yourself and you know you need a class and somebody to help guide you through, it's going to be better for you in the long run.
Just go ahead and do it. Next thing on the to-do list for, you know, applying, you're going to have to pay for a Casper exam.
Yeah.
And that's basically not a personality test, but a situational judgment test. You don't have to study for it or anything. It's asking you what you're going to do in certain situations, how you would handle it, and what you're thinking. Yeah. So that's all they want to know.
Like if you had an argument with somebody, what would you do? Or like if you like, you know,
like
felt bad.
Ethics.
Yeah, it's like an ethical test type thing.
There's no right or wrong answer. Spelling is not counted against you. It is time.
And it's all typed. It's not multiple choice. You have to type it all out. I know, friend. Like,
and I have typos.
That was look. She has typos of text messages, y'all. Like text messages.
It's a whole different language.
And I've gotten really good at like sifting it out. But look, so I just know on that Casper exam, but it's okay because I had typos too. And I go back and try to correct them, but it's typed and it's timed. Yeah. So I think you only have a few minutes. Like
a minute to read, a minute to think, and then 5 to respond, and then maybe like 3 prompts to a video that you watched.
So Casper is a thing because I think we didn't know about it until we started applying. Yeah.
And we saw it on the website, and they were like, "Oh yeah, send your Casper scores," or worse, you send everything, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're waiting on your Casper." And you're like, "Excuse me,
what's the Casper?
Huh?
What's the Casper?
The law?"
Yeah. So
and then they will not look at your stuff. It won't be complete until they get that score.
And it takes about 3 to 6 weeks, I think, to come in.
Just be sitting there. And you don't get your score, so you're just out here like that.
You never get to see the score. It just gets sent to the schools.
Took my money, my time, and I don't know nothing.
Exactly. So it's $12 as the base fee, and then you have $12 per school. So I have, I did 18 schools, and then plus the $12 base, so that's why I have $228.
Yep. And I did 12 schools.
Well, so 11 schools, and then the 12.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, so 11 schools times 12 plus the $12 is that there. So that's what that is. So you gotta have that on deck as well. And what you can do, just to take it, you could take it, for the 12, and then, maybe add 1 school. I think you have to add 1.
You can add later.
Yeah. Just to take it, get your score, and then, go ahead. So, next thing up, transcripts. You will have to send every single school, not every single school, each Texas and MCAT, your transcripts.
Yeah, so luckily, it's cool because you can just send it to them and then they worry about getting it to the schools. So they only have to send it one place, but you need a transcript for each college that you've ever been to. So I think we both had 4 types of colleges or whatever because we had
undergrad
and grad school.
Grad. We had post-bac, or I had post-bac. We both had post-bac,
well, technically, post-bac.
And
community colleges or like dual credits or whatever.
Well, yeah, my dual credit came from my post-bac. But anyway, we also took another class.
Yeah. At that other college, So
that's 4 for us.
Yeah. So that was transcripts. That's why it's 42. For some, it might be less. Like, if sometimes it's free to send your transcripts. Yeah, depends on the school.
And it's electronic, or it could be sent by mail, whatever. But account for that in your cost.
So the next one is a sore subject that I don't want to talk about because
it's tough. It's tough out here, man.
I'm hurt. So our primary. TMD SAS. It's a flat rate of $185, and with that you get
all 12.
It's 12?
It's 12.
Okay, all 12 schools in Texas.
Yes, you do.
So
that's including DOs.
Including the DO schools, and it's a flat rate. You can select not to send them to some schools, but why would you do that? It's a flat rate.
Get out the way.
That's another chance.
I don't even know if it takes the price down.
It doesn't. I don't think it does.
It's like ordering the meal and you're like, oh, I don't want the drink, but you still get charged for it. Get the drink.
Just get the drink.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to talk about MCAT's primary applications. Basically, what we have here, the price range here, or whatever, is $170 the initial rate. And then every school after that is going to be $41. Yeah, times each school. So that's where our prices are so, fluctuated here.
Yeah.
Because I applied to 35 schools. With the 12 from Texas, and then I want to say it was 25 out of state, something like that. So yeah, and then Jasmine has hers. But anyway.
Yeah. So for my MCAS, I spent $2,097. So I had, I think, somewhere close to 53 schools on there. And of those 53 schools, 6 were MD PhD programs that were actually in Texas. But if you do MD PhD, the application is always going to be through AMCAS, or it might be directly through the school. But you're going to have to research that to figure out, which schools have which stipulations. So yeah, so that's how I got my 53. It's a real big number, and which is why that price is real big too. So here's a teaching moment. Don't be like me. So of those 53 schools, I only sent 11 secondaries. or really out of like the 66 or whatever that I applied to between Texas and out of state, I only sent 11 secondaries. Huh? And that's a big number, y'all. That's a big number, and that's a big price to just send 11 secondaries. So, let this be a teaching moment. Only apply to the schools that you feel like you'd really go to, so you can save that money. You get one free school with the application. Mm-hmm. It's after that one free school that it's $41 per school. So, budget for however many schools that you think you can apply to. Make a good, concise list of, the schools that you actually want to go to and the schools that you think you're going to have a good chance of getting in. Because that's really what happened. So, like, we applied before we took our MCAT because we're COVID applicants, which might mean something to you, might not. So, our timeline has been so shifted. We had canceled MCAT dates and whatnot. So because of circumstances, we had to take our MCAT after we applied, which is not ideal, which is kind of why we casted such a wide net, because we didn't know what our MCAT scores would be, Yeah. So they could have been super high, they could have been super low, but we didn't know. Range of exactly. Schools. So I applied to, some of the top schools, as well as some of the schools that some people might shy away from, just because I wanted to make sure I shot a wide range. And then by the time secondaries came around, I had that MCAT score, so I was able to narrow down my list to say, okay, I have a better chance of getting in here than here, and I have I've always wanted to go here, but my stats don't really reflect it, so I'm gonna take this one off my list, and so that's why my list got so concise. Mm-hmm. But the idea is to have all of this planned and do all of this before you submit, so you don't end up spending like an extra $1,000 like I did. Like, that's just money gone. I don't get it back. It's just gone.
Do not get that refund.
It's gone. So yeah, that's my MCAT rant. Agreed. It'll come back later, I'm sure, but for now.
Completely agree. Know your list, know yourself, know your worth before you apply.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So let's move on to secondaries.
Yeah.
And Texas. Mm-hmm. That's $390, because we basically got the same secondary, so both of ours are the same.
Yeah.
And that's with, some of them are free, some weren't, some are they range anywhere from 50. Oh, sorry. Actually, no. Some of them are free, right? Mm-hmm. But the majority of them will be anywhere from 50 to $125. Okay? So, yeah. And you want to do yours?
Yeah. So I had a 410 for secondaries. That was my that was for my AMCAT secondaries. Mm-hmm. And so I forgot how many AMCAT secondaries I sent, but they ranged from one was free, and then most of them were about $100, like around 70, and then I think my most expensive one was $150. Other thing about secondaries, so for the MD PhD programs, those secondaries were actually included in the secondary for the main MD program, because I applied to both. So if it's a school that I applied for their MD program and their MD PhD, I only filled out one secondary and just checked a box to say that I was interested in the MD PhD, and it might have given me 3 extra questions or whatever. I'm not sure if that affected the overall secondary price, but I don't think it did. So that's also something to keep in mind.
Yeah. Agreed. And my MCAS secondaries for my out-of-state schools, I paid $1,860. That's just because, like she said, I was casting that wide of a net, and I wanted my chances. I had even taken my MCAT by the time I sent these secondaries, so schools are waiting on my MCAT at the end. So I was just, just applying. I was just going to see what this score came back. So what the score was looking like when it came back. So both mines are pretty up there. So it is what it is, Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's depressing, but at the same time, I'm gonna keep reiterating it. It's your future. If it's what you want, you will spend the money. Well, period. Point blank.
You can make it happen, and you don't even realize when you're going through it. You're like, let me do this. Let's do it.
Exactly.
And it just adds up. And so now, we're probably to our total right now, and we're like, dang.
Exactly. Looking back at that, I'm like, just think about all this stuff through navigating adulthood, going into adulthood, and paying for this med school application and whatnot. The budgeting skills were real. Let me just put it that way. Because now once my bill slipped And that, yeah, I'm proud of that. Because there were some months where they could have.
Good man.
Child.
And tithes. All right.
And tithes, yeah. So, So the next thing is interviews. So neither one of us have gotten or gone on interviews yet. But we still wanted to include this because this is a part of the application process. So ideally, we both said that 5,000 was a good number to budget for.
Yeah.
And that should include, like, you have to think about your travel there, your travel back, your travel while you're in that city, where you're going to stay, food.
If you need, what's it called? Professional attire.
Clothes,
Get that for yourself.
Yeah, all that. So
we estimated 500 for that, all of that together. It could be more, could be less, depending on where you are, where you're going, and what time of the year as well. But that was our price range, 500
per school.
Yeah, and we said 10 schools. By God's grace, 10 schools, could be less, could be more, and you're gonna dictate what you want to go on. After about the 5th or 6th one, you may say, "Child, God is good. I'm good."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
it's up to you what this part of the application process looks like. But that was our guesstimate there.
So 5,000 for 10 schools as an guesstimation. But yeah, and so our totals are a whopping lot.
I was going to say a whopping 10K.
Basically, yeah. So including the interviews, which we're praying that, we get interviews. We know we will. It's going to be good.
Jasmine will. I withdrew my application.
But you're going to get them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yes,
in
ma'am.
general,
yes,
you will
I
get
claim
interviews.
that. Yes.
Yes. Putting that in the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. I receive it.
Receive it. Okay, look.
And you too, I'm going to throw it back at you.
Receiving.
Put your hands like a funnel, and you'll receive the blessings.
Oh,
okay.
God. Anyhow, yeah. So our total. So I spent, including the interviews, $9,497. So without interviews, that's going to be $4,497. That's what I've spent to this day so far on applying to med school. That's $5,000, y'all. I've spent $5,000 just about applying to med school, and I'm not even in yet.
And you ain't getting it back.
And I ain't getting it back, not a single dime. I ain't gonna see it, ain't never gonna see it. Whew. So
have mercy.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can talk about my total.
Oh God.
I don't really have much to say about that.
Yes.
I agree. I agree with everything Jasmine said, and like you can see, it's a 14,396. Yes. So.
Yeah, it's a whopping. Yeah, so I mean, all in all, like, this process is not cheap. It's not for the faint of heart, and it's not cheap. So we advise you to start saving as early as you possibly can. Like we said, don't let this discourage you. Just, we want to tell you now up front, so you know what to expect. And when you see your totals of this, don't be surprised. You're not alone. It's not just you. This is everybody. Yeah. For all the parents that are out there saying, well, why does this cost this much? Well, this don't make no sense. No, this is what it costs. I didn't this would be free if it was up to me. Like, you should not have to pay this much for a maybe. Like, that's just ridiculous.
For a wait list.
That's ridiculous. But I mean, it's what we want. So, we do it. Period.
Like I'm saying, when you're in the thick of it all, you are just hustling. You're getting it done, and you don't even care.
Yeah,
just like
finding money in little places.
I
reaching
did
out. She did DoorDash. Yeah, I reached out to family members, people I knew. It's just you know, by any means necessary. You find a will, you find a way. We worked full-time jobs, so that helped a lot. But at the same time, like, we're not, we're not rich. We're okay because like we're single and we're one income, but at the same time, it's a lot. It's still a lot of money to put out a month because, like you said, we got bills. I had a car note. I had to buy a new car because my car broke down.
Insurance, need to eat, need to live, go to work, look okay. All that.
Yeah, so it's
the lights on.
It's expensive, but we found a way. We made it work.
Did.
So since we did it, I know you can do it. So
go ahead.
Simple as that, and
you mentioned. Oh, one thing we should mention is that with these secondaries and even primaries, there is fee assistance program.
Yeah, there are fee assistance.
With AMC, you have to apply and put in like your tax amount and refunds and all that.
And your parents' information.
Also
so it's based off of your parents' income. And I think every household involved has to make, it's like either 300 or 400 times the poverty line or less. So I'm not sure what that exact number is, but
it changes. It's gonna change per year.
I don't think it changes per year. It changed with COVID. Like they increased it. I think from 300 to 400 to cast a wider net. Or they said if you've lost something during COVID, then they'd extend it to you. But
because this is such a burden, and we are passionate about this, and no one ever talks about that this middle ground between being an undergrad and that cost, and being in med school and that cost. No one talks about this little gray area of even getting to the depth of med school. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
It's so gray.
It's tough, and it can really impact you and where you want to go. You may be the best student with the best grades, but if you don't have this money to put yourself out there and promote yourself and all this, you're stuck. Yeah. So we have something that we're working on for you guys.
Yeah. So eventually we have a lot that we're working on for you guys, and this is gonna branch out and it's gonna be big, but everything's not together yet. So give us like a little bit to get things in order, but we just want you guys to know that we are thinking of you, and we do have some plans in line to help out as much as we can and give back, you know, and especially when we get in, and when we become doctors, is that we're gonna be pouring back so much. It's so gonna be so that's the plan. Just look for scholarships, look for mentors, a sponsor. I know some people have sponsors, like just reach out. That's all you really can do, because $5,000 to $15,000.
Jesus.
And that's not even counting the acceptances, because you have to pay
to hold your spot.
So like this is just application, purely applying.
Man,
like this is expensive. It's not for the faint of heart, but it'll be okay. You'll get it done. Just do it. But anything else that we wanted to say?
That's all for us.
I think that's it.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for watching.
Yes. I'm Mariah. This is Jasmine.
Yes.
This is To Be an MD.
Oh God.
You remember that thing?
Oh, Disney Channel. Oh yeah.
Remember, I'm Mariah and Jasmine from To Be an MD, and this
To Be.
Wait, you're watching To Be an MD.